Hello, today I wanted to talk about the TCP receive window. So, for example, we have a scenario that a client wanted to transfer file, upload a big file from client to the server. And in the middle, it's the BIGIP as a load balancer. So there is two collections, from client to BIGIP, from BIGIP to server, and during this data transmission. And so for some reason, because of TCP 0 receive window in the capture as shown here, there is a TCP 0 window, and then the collection got a reset and the upload failed. So in this kind of scenario, how you can tell if it's the client problem, or if it's the BIGIP problem, or if it's the server problem. So even without BIGIP involved, when you troubleshooting this kind of a network problem in regard to TCP receive window, the thing you should look first is the receiving side, which means if you are uploading from a client to a server, and the server is the receiving side, if there is a TCP 0 window, and you should look at if it's the server receiving side advertising 0 window, 0 receive window. And so this is a capture. Since we want to look at the receiving side first, and eventually it's the server receives the data upload from the client. So on the server side, it's the BIGIP forwarded the data to the server, and so this is the server side collection between BIGIP and the server. So this is a normal TCP three-way handshake between BIGIP and the server, and then and then after the three-way handshake, the SFTP is transmitting data to the server from the client and forwarded by the BIGIP. And you can see here, so this is a typical data received by the server. You can see it's there is a TCP length 1448, so 1448 bytes data flowing from the client to the server. And so this is all data goes to the server. And once in a while, there is a ACK from the server to the client or to the BIGIP to ACK the data. And so most of the packet is from, because it's uploading file, it's BIGIP forwarded the data to the server. So it's 1448 bytes data, and then once in a while it's ACK coming back from the server to ACK the data. And since we are talking about the receive window, so we should look at the each ACK from the server and see what's the server receive window look like. So for example, this ACK, we can look at the window size here. It's calculate the window size. So the window size value is 514. But since the server and the BIGIP agreed to use window scaling, So the window scaling factor is 256. So if you multiply 514 by 256, the value, the calculated window size is 131584. So which means the server can, the window can still receive this much bytes from the BIGIP or from the client. So, and then we look at the next ACK from the server, and so this is the beginning. So the receive window is not changing much. Let's go to the end, close to the end of the. So this all going on here, and let's go to close to the 0 receive window. So here again, the server receive window is 11520, so it's getting smaller, right? So this reduced a lot. The receive window becomes 4096. So the server receive window is getting smaller and smaller, and so this is a ACK from the server with a receive window 1280 bytes, which is smaller than 1448 bytes. So the receive window is already smaller than the each TCP segment 1448 bytes. So anyway, so the client or the BIGIP still transferred 1280 bytes. So the advertised the 1280 bytes receive window, and so BIGIP and the client send BIGIP send a 1280 bytes to the server, exactly the size as the server advertised, and at the same time it shows TCP window full, meaning the server window is already full, and then the server exactly the next frame exactly with the ACK and with a receive window 0, because the 1280 receive window is filled, and no more receive window. So the receive window becomes 0. See the window size value 0, and calculate the window size 0. So that's why the server here in the Wireshark says TCP 0 window from the server to BIGIP. So, and for the once the 0 window occurs, the BIGIP will send a TCP 0 window probe to probe the server, see if the server has more receive window opened, and the server will act the probe, but still with the window size value 0. So the receive window is still 0 from the server. So this will go on for 2 or 3 times, and so BIGIP send another 0 window probe, and it didn't. The server still not open up the receive window, still receive window 0, and eventually the BIGIP reset the TCP connection to the server, because the server did not open up the receive window. So the BIGIP can no longer send the data to the server and has to reset the collection. So this is a collection on the server side, and we can look at the client side collection. So the client side collection, and so this is BIGIP, because so the thing if you tell if it's BIGIP problem or server problem is that you from the capture you look at which side, either the BIGIP or the server send the TCP 0 window first, and then you can look at the time frame. I didn't need time frame here because of the screen. So if it's this is a client side, and then you look at the 0 window from the BIGIP to the client, and you compare the time frame, the time frame of this 0 window segment, and the time frame of the TCP 0 window on the server side. Then you can tell it is BIGIP get a 0 window, 0 receive window first, or the server get a 0 receive window first. If it's a server get a 0 window first, then it's the server problem, because server cannot receive more data. BIGIP BIGIP can buffer more data on BIGIP, but eventually the receive window on the BIGIP also filled up and had to send a 0 window to client. Say the BIGIP also receive window also used up, and so in this case it's the server advertised the 0 window, so it's the server problem. And so in another example, if it's the BIGIP advertised the 0 window first, and the server still have more space for receive window, and then this may not be a server problem. Then you may look at the BIGIP TCP buffer or some tuning to see if it's the BIGIP receive window filled up too fast, and so that's how you look at this kind of problem and tell if it's the BIGIP problem or server problem for client uploading file to server. Yeah, so just want to share this. Thank you.